Rangers, and welcome to Ranger Ruby YouTube channel. In today's video, I'll be going over who were the Tuskegee Airmen. Let's go ahead and dive right on in. So in order to talk about the Tuskegee Airmen, we will need to go back a little bit. The struggle for African Americans for the greater roles in North American military conflicts spans for centuries. Opportunities for African American population in the US military was always very limited and quite controversial. Quotas, exclusion, and racial discrimination were based on the prevailing attitude in the United States, particularly in the part of the United States military, that African Americans did not possess the intellectual capacity, aptitude, and skills to be successful fighters. Eventually, political pressure by the black press, civil rights groups, historically black colleges and universities, and others resulted from the formation of the Tuskegee Airmen, making them an excellent example of the struggle by African Americans to serve in the United States military. In the early 1940s, key leaders within the United States Army Air Corps did not believe that African Americans had the intellectual capacity to become successful military pilots. After succumbing to the pressure exuded by the civil rights groups and African American leaders, the Army decided to train a small number of African American pilot cadets under special conditions. After years of racial segregation all throughout the United States, it was especially harder in the South, which is exactly where they chose to conduct this experiment. The military chose the Tuskegee Institute or Tuskegee University as a civilian contractor for a number of reasons. Some of these include the school had existing facilities, engineering and technical instructors, and a climate with ideal flying conditions year-round. Also, in addition to that, Tuskegee Institute had a strong interest in providing an aeronautical training for African American youth that was also an important factor. The Tuskegee students and faculty had designed and constructed Moton Field as a site for its military pilot training program, and named it after the university's second president, Robert Russell Moton. Moton Field was primarily a site for training African American pilot candidates for the U.S. Army Air Corps during World War II. Thus, the faculty symbolizes the entrance of African American pilots into the Army Air Corps, and the singular role of the Tuskegee Institute in providing economic and educational resources that made this entry possible. Tuskegee Airmen were the first African American soldiers to successfully complete training and enter into the Army Air Corps. Almost 1,000 aviators were produced as America's first African American military pilots. In addition, more than 10,000 military and civilian African American men and women served in a variety of supporting roles. The success of the Tuskegee Airmen proved to the American public that African Americans, when given the opportunity, could become effective military leaders and pilots. Their performance also helped set the stage for civil rights advocates to continue the struggle to end racial discrimination during the civil rights movements in the early of the 1950s and 1960s. Tuskegee Airmen reflect the struggle of African Americans to achieve equal rights, not only through legal attacks on the system of segregation, but also through techniques of nonviolent direct action aimed at segregation specifically within the military. There were also women who were a part of this movement at Tuskegee. Women of the Tuskegee experience worked alongside their male counterparts as mechanics, gate guards, control tower operators, aircraft fuelage technicians, secretaries, and clerks. Three permanent female parachute riggers who were responsible for training hundreds of cadets in the correct procedures for packing and maintaining parachutes. Gertrude Anderson served as an assistant to G.L. Washington at Kennedy Field, where Tuskegee's civilian pilot training program was based. Both women and men proudly served together and faced the same racial obstacles. In short, the name Tuskegee is synonymous with victory. Victory in war abroad and victory against racism in America. They fought two wars and came victorious off of both. All of this, as well as more information about the Tuskegee Airmen, will be linked in the description down below. Well, everybody, that's the end of today's video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please be sure to give this video a huge thumbs up and comment down below your thoughts. I'd love to hear from you. Also, be sure to click that red subscribe button and little bell next to it to always know when I post new videos. Thank you so much for watching again, and I shall see you next video. Bye!